All right, welcome. Good morning. It's morning here in Brisbane, Australia. Good afternoon to those of you joining me in your lunch break or your early afternoon. Perhaps you're somebody somewhere else in the world and it is your evening time. So that I know this webinar is actually working and that you can hear and see me. I can see some numbers on the screen, but please do use the chat box to let me know where you're listening in from today. That will also confirm that you can see me, you can hear me, and we are ready to get on with today's webinar. So just go ahead and type those in. It would be wonderful. I'm so grateful to have so many of you interested in this topic today, especially during your busy season. And that is not lost on me that you are here giving me some of your time. I don't intend for this to be a long webinar today, but an informative one that packs a punch for you, one that hopefully leaves you with some great ideas. That's definitely the objective today. All right, Warren from Oklahoma, thank you for being here. Mary in LA, we've got Denver, Colorado. I'm heading to Denver in May, Elizabeth. I'm looking forward to it. I do enjoy it. Chris, hello. Thank you for being here from Corpus Christi. We've got Toronto, Canada. Awesome. Thank you. That means we are here and ready to go. So, team, this is your tax season relief. I can't promise you any relief right now, but what I do want to do is offer you ideas that perhaps will create an awareness for your future, ideas that you could implement right now is certainly if you wanted to, but even more so, ideas that you will know there is potentially help on its way, or a better way, or in a way that we can improve things. So, I'm Wendy Miller, for those of you that don't know me or perhaps haven't met me before. I'm an implementation specialist here at ProfitTime. I'm also a high performance coach, and I just celebrated my 11th anniversary of coaching our profit time methodologies to accounting firms all over the world. And I am incredibly excited and grateful for that opportunity because it means I've got to meet so many of you and hear all of the fantastic initiatives that you put into your business, your goals, your dreams, and what you're achieving. So, whilst you are here in the middle of your tax season, as I mentioned before, this is a little break. Hopefully, it fits into your lunchtime or your afternoon tea. And the key message here today: we can't do it all. We can't. We couldn't possibly do everything right now that would fix our firm, improve the situation, and get those tax returns out the door and meet those client obligations. But what I will offer you is some suggestions that I have seen implemented during tax season by other accounting firms, and what I would do if I was back in the accounting world to help give some relief to an otherwise busy time. So we know that, or we should know, that relief won't come from doing more. It seems to be a psychological behavior in us that when we're that busy, we think we've got to pick up all of the pieces, we've got to run 100 miles an hour. There is a quote that says, give a busy person something to do and it will get done. Yes. But what we want to know, or what we want to do, is not necessarily keep spinning our wheels so hard and fast that we end up in burnout. We really want to make some better decisions, because if we keep doing the same things, having the same inputs, we're going to have the same outcomes. If we've got the same systems in our organization year after year and we band-aid them up, we're going to have the same stress. This is assuming there's challenges or issues, right? If we have the same pricing in our organization year on year, we may have the same frustrations when we're taking a look at our revenue growth or lack of. If we continue to hold the same boundaries that we have or tolerate what we're tolerating, then we're going to get the same burnout. And quite honestly, what I see and witness, and I feel for you all, but it's an absolute chaos and it's burnout. It ends up in burnout. You're already maxed out. You're already anticipating what's to come, but not necessarily new results. Maybe you grow a little year on year, but this is where better decisions truly play in for you. And so a good question to ask yourselves is, and whether you ask yourself this question now or you ask it at the end of tax season, But if you ran another tax season or another busy season exactly the same way next year, would you be okay with that? How would it feel? Now, for some of you, I totally expect you to say, of course, it'd be fine, because maybe you've got things sorted. Maybe everything's working well, profitably, smoothly, efficiently, effectively. Good. Congratulations. I'm glad. But if not, you're in the right place today for some ideas and strategies that could help you make some better decisions. And again, I want to remind you, today is about having an awareness. Often when I'm working with my coaching members at this time of year, I'm engaging with their teams, particularly around workflow, around this tax season, around how busy it is. And the first step is awareness. Awareness precedes change. And so, even if the best thing that our team members can do right now is go through this busy season aware of how things could be better, it will amplify what we want to change beyond this busy season. And that's what we're here for. What ideas can we take away that might help us make better decisions to have a better tax season? And sure, we've got deadlines all throughout the year. We can start to apply our changes in line with those. But really being able to measure how we feel this year versus how we want to feel next year and what we're willing to do about it. Little sidestep, because it would be remiss of me not to talk a little bit about ourselves so that you understand who Profit and Time are and what we do. We host a strategic workshop. We are doing that at the end of April, at the end of your tax season. And it is about learning. It is about strategic decisions. And so by scanning this QR code here, it will take you to our page for our intensive planning workshop that we are hosting. Now, that intensive planning workshop is hosted over 2 4-hour sessions online via Zoom with us at the end of April. And there are 3 major objectives that we share in that workshop. Well, in fact, you take them away. They are yours. They are tangible. You can play with them. They are a living, breathing, so to speak, document, provided you keep them alive. The first one is a 1-page operational plan. That's going to reflect the heart of your business, who you really are, where you're going. That is the thing that you share with your team, the poster you put up on the wall. It's your values, your vision, your mission, all of those things. The second key tool is our strategic planning workbook. And it contains formulas and possibilities, and it relies on our methodologies, which, by the way, you can read in our Profit and Time book. But it talks about when you apply strategies and methodologies to your current business model, what's possible. And so you'll get that strategic planning workbook as well, which has the formulas, and you can plug in your numbers. You can work alongside of us to have a new business by your design, by your numbers. And the third key takeaway that we do in the workshop is an action plan. So essentially, you know exactly what you need to do next, what has the highest uplift, the most important thing in your business. And so there are those 3 major takeaways. So if you've ever wanted to work with us or you've considered exploring a little bit more, this is an opportunity for you to join us in this workshop that we have available. So the QR code is there in the chat. Sorry, the QR code is there on the screen, and there is a link posted for you in the chat. So that is the intensive planning workshop. And what we do at Profit and Time is help accounting firm owners create freedom. That could be time freedom, it could be financial freedom, it could just be freedom of choice. And we do this through strategies which help you give back time. Everything is about increasing your profitability in your accounting firm and giving you back time. When you have those 2 things, then you have the ability to scale in whichever direction that you want. We typically meet firms in the business owner or the practice owner level of their businesses, usually when they're frustrated and they want something more, or when they feel like they're running a good business, but know that there's more to squeeze from it, whether it be an improvement in the margins, more growth, scale, or even most recently, I spoke to someone who said, we want to get really clear on our exit strategy and make sure that we are built to sell should we want to sell. And so typically in that business owner and practice owner levels, there is plenty of opportunity that exists in your business. And many of you want, and you've told me this, many of you want the investor level. Many of you want the business that can run without you. It's profitable, sustainable, provides a future for your clients and for your team, and of course for you and your family. And so you might identify yourself there in one of those three levels. Now, how we work with you to achieve that business owner or investor level status is supported by 40 key strategies. And we've identified these strategies as the ones that make a massive difference in your organization. Think of them as the headline, if you like. There is a lot more strategies we help you implement into your business, but these are the 40 keys. And they fall under 4 signature areas. The first one being fix, as in fix the foundations of your firm first, get them strong and solid. The second one is to minimize, which is to create capacity so that you can use that capacity wisely in your business to scale. We scale, which is to grow in whatever way you want as quickly as you want. And everything is underpinned by leadership. That's woven into everything throughout your business. This is about having a business that works for you, happy team, happy clients, rhythms, celebrations, fun. You know, I speak to many of my coaching clients and I'm like, we're at the point, let's have some fun with this. You've built a good business, but now we can do different things which will really enhance outcomes with you. So for today, I've selected just 3 of our major topical areas that have come out of the 40 key strategies here, and I've expanded upon those 3 main things. I hope that they will encourage and inspire you, maybe energize you to innovate, improve, or change what you're doing simply to get a different result. Now, as we get into the key content, I have a question. And I'm going to do this as a poll. Now, I haven't done a poll before, but the question is, what are you charging for an individual tax return? Let's see if this works. I've launched the poll. It is open on my screen. Hopefully it's open on your screen as well. And I want you to choose, what are you charging for an individual tax return? This is a cool process, by the way, for all of you, because you're going to see where you sit and what others are choosing. And it looks like actually it's sitting there in 3 main areas. Oh, we've got a couple extras there. This is good. I'll give you just a couple more seconds on that one. I don't see the bar graphs moving anymore. This is super interesting. What I'm seeing, and I'm going to describe this now before I actually end the poll. But what I'm seeing is the majority of you, 34% of you, are charging between $250 and $500. And I'm just going to say this up front right now. I know that's reflected as the highest bracket here on today's webinar. But let me tell you, in my member coaching group, we're above $750 and beyond. And so even if there was an uplift there for you, that's something that you could take away right now. And we'll talk about that as we go in. That's very interesting. I'm going to press end poll. I'll see what that does, whether it comes up on our screen. Share results. As I mentioned, I have not used a poll before in Zoom, so thanks for playing along with me. I believe I'm sharing the results. You can see these on the screen right now. Thanks, Kalina. Hopefully you can see the poll now. So you'll see there, 33% of you are between 250 and 500, followed by 27% of you between 750 and 1,000. What I hear and see in the industry, and I speak with accounting firms every single day across America and Canada, what I am seeing in the industry, that there is such a demand for the individual income tax return that you have the ability to raise your prices. You absolutely do. Many other accounting firms are jumping on this. Many accounting firms are selling off their individual or their 1040 parcels and packages. There are becoming fewer and fewer that want to deliver a good service in this area. So perhaps that's something for you to consider. I'm going to stop sharing those results. That was fun. I think I'll do polls again in the future. Really appreciate every one of you actually responding to that. So let's talk about that now. And the first concept falls under the fix environment, and it is a major uplift out of all of our strategies for you. Now, as I mentioned before, you can make these changes now or simply have an awareness or set a plan through today's webinar to actually make these changes later. The first thing I want you to remember in your business is that there's only 3 ways to increase your revenue, 3 main ways. I'm sure creatives could come up with more. But the 3 main ways are, first and foremost, improve your pricing, straight up. The second way, and we saw that on the poll, we saw that there's a variation right there. Maybe you might look at raising your prices. The second way is to sell more services to your existing clients. Quite simply, what other opportunities exist for them? And I'm actually going to talk about that in quite some detail a little bit later on in the webinar as well, talking about selling additional services. And the third way is to attract and gain new clients. That's the 3 ways to grow your revenue. Now, yes, there's acquisitions and mergers and outside influences, referrals, all of that sort of thing, of course. But these are the 3 main ways that you have direct control over. So if there's only 3 main ways to raise revenue, then let's just think about the raising prices mathematics for a little bit. If you were someone who said that your average individual income tax return is $500 and we increase that by, say, $250, so you fall up in that higher bracket. Let's say you've got 300 of them. That's a $75,000 increase to your revenue right now, just by making a simple decision. Now, I know exactly what you're thinking and saying because I have heard it all. But what if I lose them? You might lose them. You very well might lose the price shopping people who do not value your services. You very well might lose the whingers. You might. But what kind of number of losses are we talking about here with a $250 increase? Even if you lost 10% of your clients, you've still gained a pricing increase of $67,000 and you just gained capacity. Sometimes the simple maths and the simple formulas back really great decisions. So my question is, would you rather raise your prices or keep working more hours for less return? So there's a concept there, raising prices on these typical individual income tax returns. The third idea is our new incoming clients. What's your process, particularly during tax season? Are you screening them? Are you taking anyone and everyone that rings up and comes by the organization? My question for you is why? What's your strategic plan for your business? Do we know who our ideal client is and what's going to feed our future? Are you already overwhelmed? Is your team already working overtime? Again, I ask the question, why? From a strategic point of view, if I really wanted to make a new decision here, the first thing I would do is actually run a fee by product analysis in my business. And I would be taking a look at, firstly, is this the kind of work that I want? What do I want to be saying yes to? I would get a sense of how many clients make up what percentage of revenue in my business. That is always quite a revealing answer for our firms. And in addition to that, I would be asking the question of, what's the future of this business? Why did I start it? Where did I really want to be? What did I want to be working on? And if it's more quantity at tax time, is it about having more quantity during tax season over the potential where we could have clients with more services delivered throughout the year? Now, sure, there are some really highly profitable, well-run tax accounting firms, and they're built sustainably to handle the tax season rush. But is that you? Or is it time for you to really lean into your future and make a new decision? I don't know. Hopefully this inspires you one way or another. The fourth idea is your payment options. Are we making it easy to get paid? I came across some numbers of an accounting firm just last week, 900,000 in outstanding payments. 900,000. I mean, yes, they're running a good business and they've got some great clients, but why, in this day and age, are we accepting accounts receivable or debtors or payment, having debt on our books? Why? We need to make it easy to get paid and we need to spell it out to our clients. There is no shame and nothing negative about personal agency, leading first and saying to our clients, we'd just like to let you know how we engage with you. We'd like to let you know how we like to be paid. And we'd really love to serve you, and we hope that these terms suit you. Is it payment in advance? Is it here's the price for the work that we're going to complete with you, and we expect payment on completion? Are we engaging clients really clearly with our terms? We could set up direct debits when they sign the engagement for us to start the work. There could be a capture of their credit card details with a note letting them know that we will bill those on completion or when they come in for sign. What are your payment options? And do you need to change something? Now, that is something that you could do immediately. And the final piece, when we think about the topics under the fix area and around the conversation of pricing, is what we say no to. What we say no to can be just as rewarding as what we say yes to. New clients, new ideas, distractions, right? Sometimes we just simply have to say no, no more. We're focusing here, and this is the tracks that we are on in order to get us to the goal that we are going. So, to help you think about what we're saying no to and whether we start saying no today, are you on track for a season similar to last year? Are you expecting the team to work weekends and you know that they're going to be burnt out come April and you know they're going to take time off and you know it's going to be a slow start back in May or June or whenever that is? If you are expecting those outcomes because that's the way it's always been, I challenge you to ask yourself, well, do we want something different? Our teams that we work with are energized by the idea that it can be better. They're energized by the idea that they may never have to work overtime again in tax season. How do we get there? By having a radical shift first and foremost in our expectations, by making changes, and by saying no. Because, as I said on an earlier slide, if nothing changes, nothing changes. So what do you want to create for yourself and for your teams? Interesting thought. So that's concept number one. Is that good stuff? Is there something in there for you? Please feel free to use the chat box to let me know that this is landing. Otherwise, you might have all dropped off or gone to sleep or gone back to work. Maybe you're doing a tax return while I do this. I don't know. All right. Let's talk about the next concept. Part of the reason that we feel out of control in tax season is because we're responding to or reacting to all of the demands around us. And it's hard not to. The noise is there and we want to serve, right? We want to do a great job. There are the looming deadlines, the client requests, there's lack of structure or accountability, and often no clear goals. That's reactivity. That's showing up today and basically saying, what's the world going to throw at me today? Proactivity is where I personally choose to live. Proactivity is getting in front of our challenges. That's key. It is to be proactive. It is to say, we know there's a challenge here. What could be the solution? We know the client might react this way, ask this question, engage with us in a certain way. How can we get in front of that? And our second signature or major program from the 40 key strategies that we work with our coaching clients on is what we call the 25-step workflow process. Now, this process addresses what we can implement and where we can improve for better workflow. And this can be applied to tax season. This can be applied to monthly end closes. It can be applied to bigger clients that we're working on all throughout the year. It is about your workflow process. And in this process, we highlight who is the best person for each of the roles. And it's a surprise to many of you that often in the workflow process, there is a high volume of administrative led activity. So, where you see the title there, fulfillment manager or client excellence coordinator, and by the way, 17 of the 25 steps are led administratively. So, this is our workflow process, and we coach firms on this every day throughout season and outside of season to improve their processes, to get better results. What you typically gain from the workflow process, first and foremost, is efficiency. The second thing you gain, and by the way, efficiency is, hey, I got the job done sooner. Hey, we got the job back to the client sooner. Hey, there's more profitability in this. Hey, our software is smoother. It's not clunky. We're not roadblocked or hamstringed on anything here. The second thing, and I have to say, out of all the methodologies, workflow would be one of my favorites. It's that a good process should actually touch more of the other processes or uphold the other processes in your organization. And what I mean by that is when we're following this step by step by step by step, we're talking to the client about pricing. We're talking to the client about timelines. We're talking to the client about what they can expect. Internally amongst the team, we're saying, hey, team, we've got a new one. Here's the hours budget on this job. Here's all the information. It's a nicely prepared, ready to go job. You're welcome to sit down to it almost start to finish, accepting technical queries, of course. And at the end of this process, we're actually engaging with the client. Here's what we found. Here's what we learned. The workflow process, particularly ours, and I am biased, will completely change your organization because it gets you to uphold the process. And the people upholding the process are largely your administrators. They are so valuable and important in your business. I was one. In the accounting firms that I worked in, I was one of these roles. It's fun. So if you haven't spelled out a workflow process, you already have efficiencies to gain, I guarantee you. But if you have spelled out a workflow process, then the very next step would be to compare it to ours and then create a plan to implement what's missing. And that's going to help you achieve having the right people performing the right tasks for maximum efficiency, maximum client delight, maximum client retention, and potentially new opportunity in your business as well. So to follow on to that, when I spoke about reactivity versus proactivity and beyond the workflow process, here are some additional things to think about. And the first one is your key people. So I just highlighted the concept of the client excellence coordinator or client concierge or client success manager, however you want to title it. Do we have them in our organization helping fulfill the process of the work, the return, the monthly year end, whatever it might be? Second key to that is, do we have enough of them? Do we have enough people in the key roles to help us deliver the work? You know, the fulfillment manager is the person who's overseeing. Do I have enough work incoming for my team? Do I have enough jobs in progress and are they on track? What's going out for delivery this week? What did we promise? What are the deadlines coming up, both internal and external? So there are key roles that you may have, or maybe you guys listening on the call today, you're wearing multiple hats and you're fulfilling some of that. But what would it look like if we put a dedicated, focused person in that role? So that's an idea for you. Number two, your terms in advance. This follows on a little bit from the pricing conversation, but the question is, what are your terms? When you look at the challenges you experience with your clients, they're your clues. What are your team members telling you? What are they rolling their eyes at? What are they feeling really frustrated by? It could be the bottlenecks, the holdups. Maybe it's lack of payment. Maybe it's the client's not engaging with us. They drop work off. We try to call them for missing information. They don't respond. Maybe that we do the job and they just never come back to sign it or never collect it. What are the key frustrations? Remember, I spoke about let's get proactive. Set your terms. Re-engineer how we engage with the client before we even take their work off their hands, whether that's virtually or physically, if you're still doing physical paper exchanges. But set your terms, let your clients know there's been a change in the organization, and hold firm to that because this is your business and it's your rules. This is also about you demonstrating leadership. We are running a quality business here, delivering quality services. And when we engage with you in this way, we are able to deliver top-notch service. Don't back down. So give your terms in advance and hold firm. Speaking of holding, what often goes on in organizations is hold-ups with information not coming back to us. The amount of open jobs that we simply cannot close because the client is uncontactable or unreachable. And so I ask you, or I encourage you, or talk to you here about your information deadlines. Are you using language with your client that supports your terms of engagement, both internally and externally? So when I say internally, you might have set a delivery promise, a promise to the client, hey, we'll get started on your work and we'll have that back to you in 2 weeks. That's a promise. You might be working to the deadlines of the government organizations. Maybe it's April 15 and the client knows this, and so you're working to that. When we're engaging with the client and really clear in our language, hey, client, just wanted to let you know we're getting started on your job this week. Now, it looks like we've got everything we need, but should we reach a point where we need to contact you, what's the best way to do that? What is the best way to reach you? And could I just confirm that should we need something, you'll be able to get that to us quickly so that we can get this job back to you in the promised time frame? See the difference that makes? And you might be thinking, I don't have time for these phone calls. I don't have time to do this. Well, you might not, but that takes me back to having key people in the key roles. So ensure that the clients know what they can expect from us, but equally, what do we expect from them? Ensure that there's mutual understanding. And this one really ties back to your terms in advance. Number 4, under this, rhythm and groove. I don't know why I named it that. I just thought I'd have some fun with it. But essentially, it's your workflow meeting cadence. Even if you're punching out tax returns right now, if we had a plan, if we knew what was coming down the pipe, then we want to stay on top of what matters. And so there should be some kind of meeting cadence between you and your team through the week, particularly where you've promised deadlines or particularly where there are looming deadlines, where you've asked the question, what are we working on today? Now, that would then follow through to what are we delivering this week, which might raise the question, what do we need to do? What do we need to speed up, slow down? Who do we need to communicate with? What do we need to change? This again is about proactivity. I spent a short amount of time in a contract position in an accounting firm, and the majority of the phone calls I fielded were, I dropped my work off 2 months ago and I haven't heard anything. Could you let me know where it's at? The worst possible service in the world is reactive service. And by the way, that was a pivotal moment for me when I decided I was not going to work for accounting firms anymore. I was going to help them, just like I am now. So consider how you're communicating. And the 5th one here is, and I've said this 3 times already, it would be near impossible to make all of the changes in your administrative and workflow processes right now today. I know that. However, having an awareness that it can be better than this, experiencing the current season the way it is what it is, right? We didn't have this webinar before, we're having it now, we have awareness now. So let's be comfortable with that. But the best thing that you could do is to also allow your team an awareness that, hey, I really want to focus on improving this. I really want to set something that feels impossible, like I don't want you guys to work Saturdays anymore. I don't want you guys to miss family dinners at night or, get home when it's dark and cold, whatever that is. What I suggest you do is you have a conversation with your team now, however you might engage around the water cooler, team meeting, whatever that is, and you set a meeting up now, today. You set a meeting up today for the end of April with an agenda that asks, what went well? What could we do better? And what are we going to change? Fourth question, what do we never want to experience ever again? Let's start putting some lines in the sand, things that we can improve, what we want to work in, and really lean into the feedback from your team and from your clients. Maybe you've got clients calling up and saying, I don't know where my job is. I haven't heard from you. Things are taking a long time. That's feedback too. And lean into that and decide on a new direction for you to improve your tax season and overall your business. Hopefully that's helpful, because there's another one. Here's my concept number 3 that I'd like to share with you. Can we use this busy season to gain an advantage for ourselves? Can we use it to improve our cash flow for later on in the year when we come out of this hectic time, when we can breathe again and we're thinking, gee, cash flow's a little poor, it's getting a little tight as we nudge up through the year? Could we increase revenue? You absolutely can, because tax season is marketing season. The first one, creating capacity formula. Because I already know what you're going to say. Well, this is all great, Wendy. You can tell us to sell more services, get more clients, all of those things, but I don't even have the time. I don't have the time for any of this. Yep, I know. But if we don't create time, or if we don't take the time to make the time to change the time, I can't help you. You're just going to have to get out of your own way on that one. However, we can use a little creating capacity formula, if you like. And yes, we need to put some effort and work into this to realize it. But if we could become even 10% more efficient in our processing by being proactive over reactive, by challenging the standards or the norms that people have come to expect, by innovating. Perhaps this is another meeting that's going in the calendar for the end of April, early May, that says to the team, what do we need to innovate? How can we go faster? What do we need to change? What software do we need to ditch, etc.? If we could become even just 10% more efficient. By the way, most of our coaching clients, it's a clear 30%. We know now that we're here and engaged and focused on this, we know there's a 30% uplift in our business in efficiency. It's a gut feel, yes, it's hard to measure, but we measure it in the numbers in retrospect. So as we see your numbers improving in your business, we're able to pinpoint it back to certain key strategies, lifting and elevating those numbers. So that one is a little bit reverse engineered, but there's a gut feel initially. You know whether there's inefficiencies or not. So sure, if we could be more efficient, if we could be 10% more efficient, you might simply say, I just want to give that back to the team. No more overtime. I get it. So then we might need to push a bit harder. We might need to be 20% more efficient. What if we kept the same team, the same clients, did things a little bit faster, and we were able to use some or all of that excess time to find a new opportunity to sell to your client? Just an opportunity to sit back, pause, and say, right, I've just had my hands and my brain all over this client's job and situation. It's fresh right now. What recommendations might I have? What could I talk to the client about? What am I seeing? Have I raised a flag in their work? This is about creating capacity and brainstorming with your team. And I know that when we have more capacity in ourselves, we actually have the ability to be more creative. I'm sure many of you can relate to that. And so what do we do? What's the goal? Do we want to become 20% more efficient? And do we want to give more time back to the team, reduce overtime, do more for the clients, increase revenue from existing business? That's the possibility here. And so if we choose to go down the pathway of, you know what, we'd like to offer more back to the clients, we'd like to see how else we can serve them, then one common way is through systematic delivery. Now, earlier I said, if you could become 10% more efficient and we could get 10 to 20 minutes of time back, but we put that 10 to 20 minutes of time back into looking at the client's situation differently. And when I say systematic, add it to your workflow checklist. It's in ours, it's in our 25-step workflow process. What ideas or suggestions do you have for this client? You could put it on a checklist before any job gets reviewed so that the accountant passes the job to the manager reviews it and says, hey, that's a great idea. Systematic says every time we touch a job, we do not let it pass through without analyzing some questions. You might be able to set up a framework for that, set up some tools, or quite simply have a team forum for every job that goes out the door of a certain standard. So the concept first is to answer the question, what new ideas or suggestions did I come up with for the client? And then the next step is to present it to them appropriately. Now, do we have time for that to maybe present it to the client? Maybe not. You're going to have to make it if you want to grow your business and perhaps delight the clients in a different way. And what about actually delivering on the thing that we're proposing or selling or suggesting to the client? Yeah, that might raise a few eyebrows as well. How am I supposed to do that? Well, I'd rather you have good problems to solve. I'd rather you have champagne problems. And that's certainly something that we talk about in our coaching as well. But again, you might want to weigh up what the cost is to not do it. The second way you could think about generating more revenue for your future is through the gap. And there is a question that we say, is there a gap between where the client is today and where they want to be? We also talk about this in the concept of what we call a gap meeting. And specifically, GAP stands for Goal Achievement Process. Now, this is an alternative or an and to systematic delivery. Your entire team might be focused on finding a new opportunity through systematic processes, but perhaps your senior leaders or even yourself are the persons who are setting a specific gap meeting with your clients. And so this is something that I would say is done through an actual process. Perhaps we run a list of our clients that we think we should be speaking to. By the way, it's very much the wrong strategy for you to decide who thinks needs additional services. We really should meet with every single one of our clients and at least offer, because you could be surprised that the one you least suspect is the one that needs you the most. So the process would be, I've run a list of all of my ideal clients. I'm now going to set aside 3 hours a week availability in my calendar, and I'm going to have my administrator move through this list, booking gap meetings into my calendar for my clients where I have a conversation with them. Hey, client, what's your goals? What's keeping you up at night? How's business going? We haven't spoken at this level in a really long time. Client sits down, opens up, tells you everything. Wow, there's so much there I didn't know. Tell me, what are you doing to achieve those goals? What are you doing to change these situations? Then you're going to get to the heart of whether you can help or not. Client might say, we've got no idea. Don't know how to improve our cash flow. Don't know how to change our sales situation. Don't know how to restructure our business. Don't know what to do with our aging parents or our children that are coming up and going to take over the business. Don't know. Well, accountant, it's your time to shine. You become the trusted advisor. You have an opportunity to help them. And you might not know the answer right there on the spot either, but that's a whole other training. And what matters is that you say to them, well, we're going to help you figure that out. We will work with you on that, and we'll put together something and present that to you. I want to talk about these two in a little bit more detail for you, and then we'll work to wrapping up this webinar and getting you back to your very important work that you have there. I spoke about the systematic delivery. So this particular one, the Awesome 8, also known as finding opportunities, sits here in that systematic delivery. And so the idea, quite simply, is for your accountants or the people processing the work to really understand, is there a way that we can help the client in the area of growth? How could we help them grow their business? How could we help them make more profit? What improvements or ideas or suggestions do we have for cash flow? And we work around the wheel. Are we needing to talk about asset protection, tax minimization, financial retirement? Is that relevant right now? Succession, estate planning, and legacy. You could create your own version of what typically comes up for a client at what stage of their life or their business life and look to serve them. This is even true for individuals. Opportunities for individuals could be, when was the last time that you had your wills, your loans, or your insurances reviewed? Now, of course, you might not deliver that, but you're providing a service and a recommendation that could very well change their circumstances. Or maybe you've got some kind of referral opportunity built in there. So while we are working on every single client, why not see what else is possible for them whilst their situation is still fresh in our minds? And the Awesome 8 is a great tool to do that. Second idea, which I spoke about, was the gap meeting. And this is the gap meeting framework. Now, you are very welcome to go along to our website, profitandtime.com, and you are able to find this under free resources and download a copy of the goal achievement process meeting template. This framework is a great way to explore the information that you need to gather to basically present an idea. And this has been built around the idea of sales psychology as well. So gathering information, understanding their goals, where do they want to be, what's holding them back, and then coming in with how we can help them. As I said, this is a process. You may or may not be comfortable with it. We provide tools, hints, strategies, training, coaching on everything around the sales process to assist you as well as you do this. But essentially, as I said before, this particular one is not systematic, but rather process driven through your calendar. And so, as I mentioned before, run a list. Who are the clients? Who am I meeting with? Sit down, ask great questions, zip it, listen, let the client speak. This becomes a great opportunity for you to serve and to sell, really. On the back of that meeting framework, it makes it easy. These meetings are actually easier than you think. I used to deliver them to potential new clients as well. And simply, we just want to spend most of our time listening. And the thing is, you do not need to deliver what you identify now. And that's what I really want to drive home this tax season. But you are in the busiest time of year where you are speaking to the majority of your clients. Why would you not take the opportunity to future pace this, to lock it in? And so what that might look like is, we're in front of the client. Hey, Judy, this has been a great meeting. Wouldn't you agree? What I'd really like to do is take these ideas now back to the team, and I want to set a follow-up meeting with you for, say, late April, early May. How does that sound? Most times, because this is brand new for the client as well, they're going to be totally okay with that time frame. Or maybe we know the project has to be delivered. We already know what the project is, and it might go something like this. Hey, Judy, I am so excited for the outcomes that we've identified for you, and we're so grateful that you've chosen to engage us to deliver on them. Here's the terms of the engagement, our proposal as we've just agreed on, and here's the timeline for delivery. So just to be clear, we're getting started on this project for you in May. Now you've just created a whole new workflow season for yourself, but in project delivery. So right now in tax season, it makes sense to deliver or to discover perhaps more systematically, but set the meeting post-tax season, the follow-up meeting. And so flagging it, bringing awareness, hey, while we were doing your returns, we did find a few things that we'd like to speak to you about. Can we schedule that for this time? Or maybe you think the gap meeting process is better for you, and you might start that from 1st of May and have some personal goals around that. Whatever you do, as long as it's different to what you're currently doing, you're going to get a different result. I want to talk to you about the cost. The cost of doing nothing. You've heard some great concepts from me today. Well, Brian says they're very insightful. So thank you for that feedback. And thanks, Jody, for letting me know you're still there. You've heard some concepts, some big ones. The idea of improving our pricing for quick wins. We thought about some administrative controls and maybe what we could change. And we know that there is also the opportunity to market our services for the future as well. So if we don't make these changes, what's the cost? And I know many of you will get caught up in the fear of this. I know that you will have questions. You'll not know where to begin or what the first step should be. I get it, paralysis by analysis, and it can feel really overwhelming, and we can feel a little concerned about what the changes might mean. But there is a cost, and it's not one that we lose from, it's what we gain. And so often we get caught up in the cost of doing something, but there's actually a real cost to inaction. And I'm just going to run the numbers with you, but I want you to run them with me too right now. So if you need a calculator, get it out, because I want you to do a quick sum with me. And at the end of that sum, I want you to share the number with me. I really want to see what it is. I want to know what's possible. I want to know if my formula checks out as well. So here it is. Here's the opportunity cost or gain, and let's call it a gain. How many business clients or just number of clients do you have? Now, I say business because generally that's going to be where there is more opportunity for you to deliver a service to them. And look, if you're even thinking right now, I don't know what service to deliver, even a rolling cash flow forecast with a quarterly business meeting is incredibly beneficial for your client. So even if you've never stepped into advisory, that might be your first step in, and we all know how to do that. So what is your client number? That's the first one. If you had a meeting, what percentage of those business clients do you reasonably gut feel think could or would take up an additional service with you? I've said 40%. Out of my 212 business clients, 40% of them will take up an additional service. What number does that give you now? For me, it's 84. I've got 84 clients who are going to buy another service from me. My service might be the rolling cash flow forecast. I'm going to charge $2,700 for that, $2,750. That's my number. By the way, it might be low, might be high. I don't know. We'll go into pricing when you work with us. So now we've got 84 clients at $2,750. You know what's coming next. My opportunity gain is $231,000. Now, okay, let's go back to what the hell's going to hold us back. It's going to be time. We're talking 212 business meetings to find out that maybe 84 will take something on. Yes, we might set a goal that we do those meetings over 12 weeks. I might have 4 people that can do those meetings, and we might set a budget of 4 meetings per week. What is your opportunity gain? What did you come up with? What did you calculate? Hopefully there's still people here listening to me. I got 231,000 in new business revenue. What's yours? And don't forget, we also had, and by the way, write it in the chat. If you're happy to share that, write that in the chat for me. Don't forget too, if we raised our prices right now on our income tax returns, what we stand to gain as well. Elizabeth, 660,000 is what you stand to gain. Why wouldn't you? Is there anybody else that wants to share? Yeah, yikes. 397,000 for Jacqueline. Simple maths, right? It's worth doing. We could hire 2 more people in our organization and still profit. Now you've got some formulas and some backings to know what you need to do next. So we can wait for opportunity to knock. We can wait. We can be reactive, or we can be proactive and create it for ourselves. So just a couple of shameless plugs here. If you would like to work with us a little bit more, you do have the opportunity to do that in the planning workshop later in April this year. Do scan the QR code and check it out. Alternatively, if you are here on today's call and you are more than $1 million in revenue in your business right now, 1 to 5 aligned partners, you are ambitious and coachable. Maybe you're thinking, wow, this is possible for me. consider booking a meeting with me, having a chat with me. You're welcome. And I will certainly take time to understand your business, learn more about you, what your goals are, and let you know whether we can actually help you or not. There is potentially, as we've seen from Jacqueline and Elizabeth there, potentially huge upside. It kind of becomes a no-brainer when we realize what's possible to gain and what's possible to improve, instead of just keeping things the same. Uh, in talking about keeping, I've kept you guys for a wonderful 55 minutes on today's webinar. It has been my pleasure. I really do trust and believe that these strategies will help you improve and change and have an outstanding future. And, drop me a line. Let me know what your biggest takeaway was and how it has helped you, whether that be now or in the future. Guests, we will be hosting more of these webinars to continue to deliver value to you. And I do hope to meet you at one of the upcoming intensive workshops. But what we'll do is let you get back to your important days. Been my pleasure to host you. I'm Wendy Miller here at Profit Time. And we look forward to seeing you again on our next interaction. Take care and bye for now.